What a day. That was beautiful. Thank you. I want to introduce our speaker for today. His name is Michael Sudman. Yeah. But not only that, I'll tell you a little bit about him. His connection to God grows each day, moment by moment. He's been a keen practitioner of A Course in Miracles for many years. A perpetual unity and center for spiritual living student, Michael feels at home in non-denominational centers around the world. Please, Michael Sudman.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Yeah, I want to say I think Sandra and I make up the national average because I try to see the sunrise every single morning. I get up almost every single day before the sunrise, and it's such a big part of my life. I want to thank you guys all for the opportunity to come here again and speak for you. The gesture of love that you guys all express to me touches my heart, and I am very pleased to be here. And I didn't know it was the Center for Spiritual Living Resort and Spa. It seems as though they only have parties and travel. So that's what brings me here today. I'm inspired by love to give you guys this message. I believe I am the light of the world, and I share my light today with you. And I believe each of you are also the light of the world, and I accept your light willingly. I believe we all share the light of the world, and for that sharing, I'm eternally grateful. I believe love saved my life. I recognized all extensions of love as miracles. I believe I can trust in a miracle happening when I need it most. And that's my truth. My faith rests in knowing that miracles are waiting patiently for me to recognize them. I try to be mindful of each miracle, each day, every day, all day. In essence, I'm actively conscious about recognizing and appreciating the miracles that are happening in my life. And I witness them all the time. Truly, miracles are present anytime I'm willing to see them. I just have to look for them, and they're there for me. And they're there for each of you. Many of us talk about miracles and have differing beliefs that they bring to the subject. Some of us wait for miracles for only the big ask requests, to cure an illness, get that home on the hill, get that promotion that's long awaited, things like that. Others believe that miracles are selective, right? We don't deserve them. We're not raising to the level to accept the blessing of the tiny miracle that we just recognized in our life. We don't deserve it. We possibly believe someone else maybe needs that miracle more than I do. Miracles happen every day. If you change your perception of what a miracle is, you'll see them all around you. And those are the words of John Bon Jovi. On the other end of the spectrum, some of us see miracles everywhere. I'm one of those types. I'm a hippie through and through. I grew up in Hollywood, California. No religious connection. Truly non-denominational, as Dennis said. I grew up with a bunch of urban hippies, so it was a little bit different than the Pune hippies that we have here. So, for instance, I never planted a plant before, and now I live on a farm. Great. I sort of ended up in Pune because all of you guys are my kind of people. You're truly my ohana, the Hawaiian word for family. And to me, that's a miracle. I feel welcome here, and I feel welcome here at this church. You see, I believe it's a miracle every time I'm mindful and I change my own perception, my own current event, my own circumstance that I'm going through, and I replace a fear thought, worry, anger, attack, judgment, with a happier thought, a thought of love, a thought of contentment. We sometimes challenge ourselves. We say, I can't do that. I don't do that. Those are like old beliefs that we bring with us into every situation. And I am a true living experiment on challenging my old beliefs. I never thought I had so many old beliefs until I started challenging them. And for the last year, I've been exploring myself in a way that I never thought I would have to, and I never thought possible. So I believe miracles happen every day in my life, and they happen in an instant. In that instant, I believe time collapses. All fears are suspended in that moment, and joy is restored to me. And I can't change my circumstance. I can't, but I can change my perspective of how I look at that circumstance, and I can send love to it. So a friend of mine, mentor of mine, told me, and I think I've said this before, and I probably will say it again, if my joy is disturbed, even in the slightest, I'm missing all my miracles. I do believe I live a miracle consciousness. So my process is, if my joy is disturbed, which it often is, I ask myself, am I in the perfect place right now to witness a miracle? Then I ask, what am I showing up here to witness? You know, what am I here to learn? What do I need to understand better right now? Something, because I'm disturbed, right? So it's something that I need to look at. Am I extending love in this moment? Or am I crying out for love? Sorry, Beth. I do that, I fade back into it's the miracles. I'm back here now. So, yeah, I ask myself, am I extending love in this moment, or am I crying out for love? Because someone else told me, and I don't know who, that that's the reason we communicate with each other. Either we're crying out for love, or we're extending love. So I sit mindfully in my disturbance, don't we all? And I ask myself, what am I currently scared of? Because it's something. There's something I'm scared of that's disturbing my joy. All is a miracle. The stupendous order of nature, the revolution of 100 million worlds around millions of suns, the activity of light, the life of all animals, are all grand and perpetual miracles. That's a quote from Voltaire. He lived, he was a philosopher, I guess, poet, and he lived in the early 18th century. So it is not a new subject for us to be trying to explore and understand miracles more. Don't be too hard on yourself. Something happened to me personally and my family. And I think it's a miracle that I know Bev has heard this miracle. I'm going to share this miracle with all of you guys because it's one that was life-changing for me, my wife, and my children. At the financial crash of 2007 and 2008, we lost our business. We lost our homes, our cars, our boats, our friends, our family, some family. It all started with a business plan and a vision. I was a lawyer already, but I didn't practice law. I went to law school at night. That was one of the blessings of my adult life. Basically, I spent most of my adult life selling toilets. That's the truth. That's the truth. We also sold hardware and faucets and cabinet knobs and cabinets for the knobs to go on and everything for the kitchen and bath, including the kitchen sink. So we did that. We had 4 beautiful showrooms, customers all day, every day. In fact, September of 2007 was our biggest month ever. We built it and it was beautiful. It was truly a miracle. However, October was different. Within a moment, what took a lifetime to build was almost instantly gone. During the months ensuing after the loss, I couldn't see the forest through the trees. I was fighting with my wife all the time, and it was the only time in our long marriage that I truly thought we might not make it. I began questioning, where is the miracle in this? Why is this happening to me? And I sort of was focused on me, which is maybe not the right place to focus. My wife said to me one night, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. Was that a cry out for love? I think so. And I responded, sorry. I wasn't going to do that. I always say that in these places. It's crazy. I responded, I love you. And we're going to go through this whether or not we go through this together. And she couldn't hear that. She couldn't hear that. Was that an extension of love from me to her? Yeah, I think it was. And it took her about 3 days. And she came back to me and said, I love you too. And I want to do this with you. So that was love exchanged. We changed our perception. She changed her perception. We couldn't change the circumstance. We lost everything. Yeah, it was a true miracle. Changed my life completely. From that moment, when she said, let's do this together, we were all in. We had, $82 in a can. No bank accounts. Starting from the bottom. I was 43. She was, I think 43. Maybe she might have been 44. For the first time in my life, I absolutely had no idea what to do next. My wife turned to me and said, you are a lawyer. Swear to God. Never thought I would practice law. So we had a hard time. Nobody wanted to help us. We had no money, so we couldn't get a lawyer. So I put an ad on Craigslist the next day, and I said, if you're willing to make a genuine effort to pay your legal fees, I'll help you with your family law problem. Well, I think it was a marketing plan more than it was a spiritual dive at that time, because I was sort of desperate. We got our first client, and then our second client, and then our third client. And that was 2007. We've helped just about 5,000 families since then. And another thing happened during that time, which is really a miracle. And again, sorry, Bev, I know you've heard this. I was sitting at lunch one day, and I got a call from my wife saying she got a call from UC Santa Barbara Financial Aid Department saying that our student loan for my daughter, who got accepted that same year, was canceled. We have too much assets. From our 2006 tax return, our assets were too high to qualify, even though between that tax return and that day, literally, we were broke. So I said, don't worry, honey, I'm gonna call and fix it. Right, sure. So I did, I called, and the lady actually said to me something, well, if you can't afford it, your daughter should just go to junior college. Well, my daughter worked really hard to get to go to UC Santa Barbara. She was all packed. Her little dance team stuff was all organized, and she was going to go whether I had to sell my blood, That's sort of how it was. So I said, can I speak to your supervisor? And she said, yes. No. Can I speak to your supervisor? No. Finally, after 5 no's, 5 transfers, I get the financial aid director. And I said, you've got to help me do something so I can get my daughter into the school. She said, if you can come up with $2,500 by Friday, this was Tuesday afternoon, I will give you a payment plan. You pay the tuition, and I'll give you a payment plan for the housing. $1,666 per month was the proposal. I hung up the phone. I said, you got a deal. And I hung up the phone without even really thinking about it. So I called my wife, and what did she do? Panicked. Right, how are we going to come up with money? We didn't have anybody to call. There was no resource, nowhere to turn. Well, I said, spiritually, I have to manifest this. Actually, I didn't say that at all. I was panicking also. But On Thursday night, I went to the mailbox at the end of the block. It was one of those kind, like, multiple things for the housing development. I open up my thing, which I've been doing every day, and I get a big stack of red notices, and they were foreclosing our house and foreclosing our everything. And inside there was a refund check from the state of California because I overpaid my taxes in 2006. And guess what? $2,500. So I cashed that check. I drove up there, paid the money, and I never missed one of the $1,666 payments. My daughter's now a practicing lawyer. We helped her go all the way through law school. My son is a college graduate. From that turning point, when we recognized the miracle and we shifted our perception, everything started to unfold good. But did I change the circumstance of losing everything? I didn't. I hold that circumstance now as one of the alchemies, one of the miracles in my heart that I can share with people as a guidepost of faith. I've never been religious, but as he said, my relationship with God gets stronger every day because of the miracles that are presented to me each day of my life. So my miracle today is I hold these beliefs true right here with all of you. I believe that I have all of the gathered love that was given to me, was shared with me from all of my life, and that gathered love's available to me at any time to share with all of you. And I believe every extension and every acceptance of love is a miracle. And it's a promise from God to all of us. That's my truth. And I choose right now to release all of my fears. Most of them I create myself in my own mind, and they never really happen. But even in the dire circumstances, I didn't say it and I welled up a little bit because that story is a happy story, but just so everybody knows, my wife passed away 1 year ago from pancreatic cancer. So it's a special story because that circumstance is something that I never thought I would do. I have a life that I never thought I would have. And guess what? It's a really good life. I have all of my wife's love with me. And we were together 45 years and most of our whole life. And she is still heavily present in my life and the life of my children. And I know the life of all of the people that loved her. So she's my miracle. And one day I'll actually share the story of that, but I don't think I could get through it without crying. So I love all of you guys exactly as you are. And go out and see the miracles today. Thank you very much for having me.